Kitch.
Yellow.
Michael on his way to Vegas to know me.
Woo!
Yeah, that's clearly the most. We should have you going to Vegas every time. Now you're fine. I feel like you're finally back.
I am back.
Of course, you know what? I'm not sure you are back because you caused a lot of shit here just before we get on the pod. You throw out this note that we can't validate. Apparently, according to this for our listeners, this just in from our source, Mike Deno. OG out 2 weeks. And why did it say? What did it say what he was out for?
His finger. Rest his finger.
It doesn't make sense. Okay, that's an old feed. That's from 8-9 months ago when he was hurt. Okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. You know what?
We'll see.
Well, all of a sudden, I'm thinking this is a 2-man pod. This is maybe just.
No, Deno, you're the third. Sorry, you're not one of the. You're not one of the two.
Kitch blew up on TikTok last week. He's got the all-time TikTok views now. You're second fiddle there too. I don't know. We'll have to.
I thought it was me and Kitch. Okay, all right. Sorry, Bart.
No, not at all. All right, listen. Let's break it down. Raps. Last two games. Chicago. Almost the tale of two teams yet again. Obviously, both without our guy, our favorite Raptor, Pascal Siakam. So maybe we can, Kitch. Maybe we can start us off here a little bit of the Siakam impact, and then what you thought of those two games.
As I've said in the past, I hate this back-to-back, and now we're 3 for 3 on splits. We're 3 for 3 on splits in this. We show up for the first game. We play well. We play solid. They don't bring Levine. And then we go back to the next game, back home there, and we lose, and they play Levine. And it's giving me this eerie feeling that these teams are just playing these games for splits, or the players are playing the games to get a split. So, yeah, we played great at home. We didn't play great the next night on the road without Siakam. Yeah, Siakam is it's our true scorer. So he's the guy that we can sort of give the ball to and think, yeah, we got a good chance of scoring here. Anybody else we give the ball to, we're like, I hope he can score. I think he can. And obviously Freddie went off and had a great game in the first one. But Siakam's our kind of guy that, you know, let's if we need somebody to score, we're probably giving the ball to him right now. And if he's not in the court, then we're kind of hoping the other guys can score. So that's my feel on it.
Deno?
Yeah, these back-to-backs, I'm sure you guys were listening to the Jack and them talking about, we have 7 or 8 of these a year. This year, a lot of the other teams have it. Some teams only have 1, right? So they've really, I think it depends on the team. They kind of pick certain teams. I'm not sure why. So I think I agree with Kitch. We're going to see a lot of this splitting. You guys, I missed last week. You guys trashed OG some more. So I appreciate, the effort that OG has been given over the last 4 games. Bart, can I go through the stats? Sure, I'll do it.
Well, hang on. Before you do that, can we trust it? Can you trust it? You've made two comments. OG is definitely playing tonight, so he's not hurt. Let's go with that.
Yep.
2, you said some teams only have 1 back-to-backs. I'm not sure that's true at all.
No, team. Like, we play the same team back-to-back.
Yeah, no. You're saying some teams only have that once, and I don't think that's right. I think that's
true.
wrong, too.
No.
Go ahead, please. OG stats, please.
Okay. OG stats.
You're off today, by the way. You're already in Vegas, I think. That's the problem. You're already in Vegas.
No, I'm on, actually. OG, last 4 games, 20 points, 4 steals, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. So
in a loss?
Last 4 games, they're 2-2.
Oh,
playing
sorry.
good teams.
That was a stats. Yeah. Oh, that's a stats for the last 4 games. Sorry, I was listening.
Yeah. So playing good teams, defense, leading league in steals. I think I want an apology. I want an apology, first of all, from Kitchen, and then Bart for trashing OG.
Okay, I'm ready to do my apology.
Deno, we just make people better. We make people, every time we trash them, they come out better. So you know what? You owe us an apology. You want us to trash these people because then they shine. So
I'm sorry then. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let's not to belabor the OG point yet again, but let's just break it down. So I agree. The steal run that he's on right now is might be unprecedented, actually. I mean, having sort of back-to-back games in that 5-6 steal, like that's you don't see that very often. So yes, obviously that part of his game is effective. But I'm curious, if you watch the second game in Chicago, I noticed it. Now maybe we're hypersensitive, or maybe I'm hypersensitive to it. But did you not think his on ball at the top of the key defense on DeRozan or Levine, they were blowing by him. There was his one-on-one top of the key defense. He wasn't stopping anybody. So again, I'm not saying that to shit on him. I'm just saying that when he talks about I want to be defensive player of the year, like I don't think it just be off ball steals is a big part of it, right? It has, like, he's talking about I am a lockdown defender, and I'm just sitting there going, at the top of the key on Monday night, he was not locking it down.
They weren't playing the regular defense though either, Bart. Like, they did not stop doubling. Like, did they ever stop doubling DeRozan in both those games?
Well, I wanted to bring that up actually in our nurse segment too. That's coming up next. Like, that was a very interesting strategy. I mean, we doubled on and we won on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But it seemed like we were doubling more game 2 for sure. And there was no sort of like Chicago clearly had a beat on it by the end. And once they were out of that double, it was a bit of a layup.
I thought game 1 without Levine, it definitely makes a sense. But like, Levine can pop 30 on you pretty quick. Kitch, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, Deno, first I'd like to comment on your take the mortgage out lock on the second Raptors game. Jesus. lock on DeRozan over, which even Raptors centered. And what do you get 0 points the first quarter? It's like, oh Jesus.
Theory would be that they wouldn't play the same defense because Levine's back, and they played the same defense. Like, how do you play the same defense with an all-star back? I guess
it was still bad advice. It was still bad.
But I kind of like DeRozan having that kind of patience to do that, because he played. He was pretty solid down the stretch in game 2 when they needed to get a bucket, again blowing by OG. But he was patient. I mean, he wasn't trying to do too much. He wasn't trying to force it. There's a guy who I think is super comfortable with who he is now. Like, I don't think there's anything. I don't think he needs to prove himself or is trying to prove himself to anybody. So I actually thought he was. But I think combined both games, like, I don't know. I don't think he put up 20 shots between both games.
I think less. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's part defense, and I think part of a savvy player who understands the defense and makes the right read, which we could use more of ourselves sometimes when we get out there. And by the way, back to this is terrible. We're gonna everything's gonna revert back to OG. I still don't think he can dribble. I think if you put him uncontested, full court to make a layup, there's no one else on the court, I don't think he could do it 10 times in a row without fucking up the dribble. I really don't.
Not at full speed. Not at full speed. No.
I agree. I totally agree.
It's like he gets nervous. Like
he gets excited. I think he just gets excited. When you dribble, you get excited, and all of a sudden it just explodes. I think it's like that.
Bart, we take these stats. Bart, in high school basketball, they would take stats, and some people would run faster with the basketball, right? OG would be like half as fast. Like,
totally,
he is nervous.
Totally.
He's going to lose it.
Yeah, he might be an Olympic 100-meter sprinter, but you put a basketball in his hands, he is at best a speed walker. I'm telling you. I know, it's bizarre. And then he makes that bonehead play. The ball's going out of bounds. All he has to do is let it go. He tries to save it to himself.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it just like so. Listen, he can't dribble. I'm not sure he's the most cerebral player that we have out there, but whatever. That's fine. Listen, let's get off OG. Kitch, we're well versed on you not liking the back-to-backs. Hopefully we don't have any more in the near future, so we don't have to inundate the audience with your views on this. Even though I kind of like him. I actually like him. It's kind of a good feel. Like I like the 2 game sets. You get a feel for what we did. They adjust, we adjust, sort of see what happens. Like, yeah, I don't.
As a player, the player, you would love it. Like Miami for the weekend or whatever. Like, count me in. Like, let's get Las Vegas the team. Las Vegas for a weekend. Hello.
I'm going to speak to that a little bit in my AOB because I was in Toronto a couple days before. And guess who I bumped into a few times?
Ooh.
Chicago Bulls.
Oh, double.
Yeah, Chicago Bulls. All right. Well, listen. Let's not. So Siakam. We're gonna do some word association here in a minute, but let's just quickly break down the Siakam injury here and what it really means. They're saying 2 weeks. I think it's going to be more like 3 to 4. I think obviously it's a huge blow. I think we got to try and play 500 ball during that time. We have an easy stretch coming up here with Houston, Oklahoma City, and Indiana. Got to get 2 or 3 of those for sure. but yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate considering the level that he was playing at. Like it was pretty impressive. Like he was making that case for top 10 player in the league. I mean, obviously way too early to be talking MVP, but he would have been in an MVP discussion if the season stopped after 9 games. He would have been in that MVP discussion. So, yeah, I was playing at a high level. So I am actually more disappointed that we're not going to be able to see what that was going to look like, as opposed to worrying about the record yet. Because I'm not too worried about us being, competent while he's gone. Because it is kind of amazing. We played pretty well in that Sunday night game without him. Freddie comes back. Plays well. I think we've got a deep enough bench where we can survive it. But then we're gonna have games like Monday night where we can't score again. So I'm less worried about the record. Just more disappointed that he's out.
Yeah. You've got, and you've got one job. You sit under the basket, and you get a courtside seat for the entire season in Dallas, and your only job is to keep the floor freaking dry. Keep the floor dry. And when a guy goes down, that should be an instant firing. That should be like, you know what? You're sitting there, all you're looking at is the wet floor. Get out there with the mop, wipe it down, get dry. So that drives me nuts. Courtside seat for that kid. Keep the floor dry.
Bart, would you want to work for Kitch? You make a little air, you put a 3, it's supposed to be a 2.
No. Think about it. Get walked out, Bart.
Yeah, I agree. There's a short fuse for sure, especially when he thinks he's Mr. Patient, and he's not. So that's, but yeah, no, I agree. But Kitch, I don't know. I've seen that replay 1,000 times now, and I don't know. We were sure there was a ton of water on the floor. Look where he was. He was at the top of the 3-point. There wasn't water on the floor there. There may be some sweat. But you don't generally see them in the middle of the game running out to the top of the 3-point line to wipe off the sweat in the middle of the game. You just don't generally see that.
Yeah, they're doing it all the time.
No, not at the 3-point line. In the paint, yes, not the 3-point line.
They do once in a while, Bert.
Yeah, they do.
Once in a while. Yeah.
Pay attention, kid. Pay attention.
Right. You know what? I think that was a bad break. And by the way that he went down, you would have thought he ripped his right side of his body apart from his body. Jesus.
Soccer player.
Oh my God. That was like, I thought here comes, they're going to drive the ambulance on the court to get him out of there. But yeah, I think that's more bad luck than blaming the 13-year-old in Dallas for the fix was in. You know what? You sound like TikTok Nation. You sound like Raptor TikTok Nation. The conspiracy's in.
This is why I get the views.
Let's go.
All right, any more thoughts?
Breaking it down. So Siakam, yeah. So without Siakam, I still think we got a good enough core. You think of our core 3. I think OG 4 if he doesn't have a sore pinky. So those guys in that core is better than a lot of the youth. I think that is on Houston or Indiana or those types of teams. So I think our core can still get by. The core we have right now can still get by without Siakam. Obviously we're going to be hard pressed in the tougher opponents. So I'm hoping that, and I don't know, do you guys, we didn't really talk about it, but I don't know if you looked into it. What's the severity of that type of injury? Is it usually a 2-week thing? Is it usually long?
So the Bart boys and their father went through this in great detail. It would appear that the average is closer to 4 weeks. On these sorts of things, and it can go longer than that. Like LeBron missed 19 games with a very similar injury a couple of years ago with this sort of stuff. So, it could be, this could be a lot longer than 2 weeks. I would be very, very surprised if he's playing in November. So
could
that's yeah. So, but like I said, if we can survive it playing 500 ball, he comes back healthy. I think and the rest of us can stay healthy. That's totally fine. All right, listen, quickly. Word association. Fred VanVleet. Deno.
Keep shooting threes.
Yeah, you're consistent on that. Kitch, Freddie.
Grow a foot and a half.
What's that? What'd you say?
Grow a foot and a half.
Oh, yeah. Finish at the basket. That'd be nice.
Oh my God! Finish the basket. He cannot make a layup inside. He has no ability to separate himself from the defender. So he should never try to shoot another layup in his career unless he can figure this out.
Well, I agree. And he gets no calls in there because I think they know, right? He has no explosive. He's got no hops. He's admitted he can't dunk. I mean, yeah, that's a problem if you continue trying to go. But it is one of those things where the moment you stop doing it and taking anybody off the dribble, then that's also the moment they just go, okay, well, we're going to play you. If you become one dimensional, I think other teams will figure out a way to shut you down even more. But I agree with you. He's got to be. I think he has to be far more selective in those attempts because too many times. I mean, even with the ones that go in, it's not easy.
Yeah,
it is not easy.
Oh, no, it's like a reverse way up high in the backboard.
Yeah. And then I would love to know what his percentage of going to the free throw line is off those attempts. It's not very high because he doesn't get very many calls.
Never gets a call. Never gets a call
on that. But listen, 2 good bounce back games. The guy was out 4 or 5 games. He came in and he played really well, shot it well. We're going to need that from him while Pascal's out. So I was thrilled to see him sort of bounce back and look like the All-Star Freddie from last year because that is going to be big over these next 3 to 4 weeks. So. For me, that was pretty positive. Next word association. Achua.
Light switch. On or off?
I think more minutes. I think he plays better with the more minutes he gets.
I agree. I'm kind of shocked that after he had that good little stretch in this Philly run.
And Miami game.
Yeah, Miami. He had a great Miami game, great Philly game, and then it's kind of like Koloko starts, and now Koloko's getting huge minutes, which we'll talk. He's next in the word association, so save that. But it's like, he's kind of there are games where Achua's getting 8 minutes, 11 minutes. Like he's really not even a consistent part of the 8-man rotation, which I find shocking. Actually, because I like him. I like his motor when he plays. I'm with you, Kitch. He's got to play 24 minutes a game. Has to.
Nurses said in all his press conferences afterwards, like he's going to continually mix these lineups, like just try and see what sticks. So maybe just once in a while he takes them out and throws some other guys in. But his stats are really, really good. I think his plus minus is really good too when he's out there.
Yeah, I think he came into the season this year like thinking he was going to be so I don't think we're doing him any favors doing this because like
I agree.
We talked him up at the end of last year. He's really coming to his own. He's starting to play really well. And if we start putting him on the bench for most of the game, that's not going to bode well for him going forward. He's going to be like, well, really? Like, am I not valued here? I thought I was good last year. So yeah, there's a.
And I'm 21 minutes, guys. 21
on Monday.
No, on average.
I think that's skewed by a few games. Like I think he goes 5 and then 38 or something like that. Like I think it's
his last 5, 18, 21, 27, and then last against Chicago 14 and 14. So it was a matchup thing or with what they're doing with DeRozan?
Listen,
I don't know.
I guess
I would love to see him be the second guy off the bench and get his 24 minutes a game for 2 months and let's see where he's at. Right? Because I think him. I'm with you, Kitch. I think the in and out with him is not what he needs.
And he earned it. He earned it last year, I think.
Well, even at the beginning of this year, I thought he did. He was playing well.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was going to start when Pascal went down instead of Koloko. So, or when Freddie went out, they put Koloko in too. Right? I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to Chua. On that, let's quickly talk about the Rook, who I am super high on. However, I was a little bit worried on Monday night. Still super high, but there was a little leakage in his game. I thought on Monday night.
Future and green. He's green, but I think he's good for the future. So I like him. I don't think he deserves to start at this point in his career, to be honest with you. So I think Achua should start ahead of him. But if they want to get bench points, like we said in the past, maybe that's where they keep Achua to get the bench points and put a Koloko on just to cover the big body on the other side.
33rd pick overall, boys. That's a pretty good, how many second round guys are coming in and getting these minutes and producing
real minutes. No, listen, I'm with you, Deno. I'm super high on him. I've liked almost everything I've seen. Monday night was a bit of a like, ooh, okay, maybe he's got, maybe he is a little more green, like you said, Kitch. Didn't finish well at all. Didn't catch the ball well. I think he's in there because of his size, and defensively, he's been a pretty good presence, right? He's doing all right. Defensively, his rotations are decent. He's getting a ton of blocks when he's in there. I think his blocks per minutes played is I don't know. I think it's top 6 or 7 in the league right now. So I like him that simp, but there were a couple of, I mean, he should have converted a couple of baskets the other night. You're just going, ooh. So you hope that, and then, I don't know, I saw him, one thing that really bothered me, OG can't dribble. I don't know if he knows how to run properly, like an athlete. He was running from one end of the court to the other, and his arms sort of stayed down by his waist the entire time. Like they never came up properly. Like there's no way if he was in a 4x100 relay, you'd never get the baton. He would never be able to pass the baton to anybody.
He's 7'1", Bart, so he can reach back really far.
But his arms never get that high. Like you'd have to literally knock the guy over to hand the baton to him. So I'm not sure what kind of overall athlete he is, but again, I agree with you, Denver. Second round pick, playing these kind of minutes, and he's looked decent. Like I'm super high on him. Super high.
He's confident. Like
Thanks.
The games I've watched, he looks very confident out there for a rookie too. Like that Bulls game, 6 blocks. Like I think the Bulls are saying, "What's going on here?" They kept going in that first half. They kept place going nuts. So confidence wise, I think he's got it. 22 years old.
All right, last one.
He's not backing down from the other guys either. They dig in his face, and he's right back in their face.
I agree. Well, he's got a man's build already. Like he's only, if he gets bigger too. Like I'm high on Koloko.
Yep.
Just watch him run. All right, last one. Nick Nurse challenge skills.
Oh, who starts?
You go, Kitch. Wow. I'm going to go somewhere different on this.
You are, I know. So okay. I don't think you honestly should ever use a challenge if there's not less than 5 minutes to go in the game. I don't care if you're saving it for something or you're trying to protect a player or something like that. Let the player adapt to something down the road. And we used the other night at 4-2. Yeah, I know we wanted to save Freddie with a foul, but God, they just got 5 more fouls. Like he can manage that through the rest of the game. What if we got to the end of the game and we needed it for a bad call that was a decider? It's got to be somebody that decides the outcome of the game at the end. Is my belief. So I think his challenge, like to throw a challenge at 4-2, that just shows he has no idea. And with all the analytics done in sports nowadays, somebody's got to sit with an analytic and say, okay, is this the right thing to do? Because he's got to figure out from that standpoint.
Well, no,
it drives me crazy.
I'll take one step further. He doesn't need to, don't spend any money on those analytics, dude. Just come over to my place. I'll spend 10 minutes with him. I will break it right the fuck down for him because it's not hard. It is really, really not hard. Clearly, he just doesn't value it. He doesn't see it as a game-altering type asset, and I don't understand that. Like to me, it's a massive asset towards in a tight game when you need it, when you cannot trust the referees. You know, if you're Raptors Nation and you believe that we don't ever get any calls, then you have to hold that. And most of our games are going to be relatively close, tight in the fourth quarter. To use that the first quarter, like that was just a fuck you to the refs, right? Like I think that, and which I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of setting that tone 30 seconds into the game. So he just doesn't value it for whatever reason, and no one has talked any sense to him. If we ever get him on the pod, it's going to be a 45-minute. Here's how we use a challenge session. That's it. We're not going to find out about his background, where he came from. It's just going to be Nick. Let's break it down right now in the challenge.
So Nurse in the press conference afterwards said that DeRozan had 22 free throws the game before. So he said he wanted to tell the refs that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen tonight. But so anyways, I agree with you guys a bit around the last 5 minutes. How Deno analyzes this, and it's the actually correct
Third-person
way
Deno. Okay.
To analyze this is if for sure 2 points are taken off the board or 3. Like if it's for sure, I would even do it the first quarter. Like if it's for sure 3 points, because you don't really know if you're going to need it at the end, right? So, but how is it for sure? Well, when that guy on the bench is going the wink, like this is a lock, kind of like Bart's locks, like that crisp
again,
that crisp on it. Do you want to save it to the end? I agree. For a third foul in the first half, I might, but agree. A first foul, I think that was an FU to the refs saying DeRozan had 22 free throws last night. Don't do it tonight.
Yeah, maybe. But the other thing too, though, I don't even think Nick. I used to, but from what I see at the games, I don't even think he looks to the bench for the wink anymore. I think he just kind of goes off and kind of goes, "All right, I'm going to challenge this."
That one. I think he just said, like, I think he was surprised he did it. Like in the press conference afterwards, he goes, "Was that the third possession?" Like he was going, "The third possession." They go, "Yeah." He goes, "So I can get better on it." Like he was saying, "I can do it in the first possession." Like that'd be the record. Like he was laughing at himself.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Yeah, I really would love. I just would love 5 minutes with him on it. That's all. 5 minutes. Maybe I'll get it the next game. All right, listen, we got to move on. That's Raps recap. We got a game tonight, Houston, OKC, and then Indy on Sunday. So yeah, this has got to be a good stretch for us. Got to be.
This is Xerox Al game. Xerox Al's going to this game, isn't he?
Is that tonight? Oh, it is tonight.
Yeah.
How about reaching out the day of, saying, "Hey, Dave, thanks for the tickets." How about that? Yeah, I'll talk to him about that. Well, he's not going to like that, by the way. He's not going to like that. Yeah. All right, listen. Quickly, I know I put on the agenda the state of the NBA standings as it sits right now, but let's just a quick general recap of like it's kind of crazy if you look at it right now. The teams that are in, like if the playoffs started today, it would be nuts. It'd be absolutely nuts. So obviously, it's way too small of a sample size, but man, good teams are struggling. Bad teams aren't. Or teams that you thought were going to, would not have no chance of making the playoffs are off to a decent start. But and you look at right now, Golden State's out, Miami would be out of the playoffs, Nets would be out of the playoffs. Obviously, the Lakers would be out, the Clippers would be out. Right? It's crazy.
How about the Utah Jazz?
Oh,
like 9-3, and like they sold the farm. They got rid of the farm to rebuild. And the players have said, screw you, we're not rebuilding, we're winning. 9-3.
Well, and quality wins too. It's not like they've played a bunch of the shit teams. They've got some quality wins. Beat Memphis twice.
I watched them the other night. They're like, look at their lineup, guys. Like, I'm gonna screw up this name. Markkanen, is that right? I don't know how you say it. Markkanen,
yeah.
Clarkson, Sexton, Conley, Olenek, Beasley. Like, it's actually, I don't know why. Like, I thought because they lost their two best players, that they were really deep. Well, like, I had them last year, maybe going to the final.
But
right? Like, they got to get rid of these six guys.
That's not horrible remnants left behind, actually.
Yeah.
No, but don't forget, every one of those guys you just named is, in theory, a role player somewhere else. So it is impressive. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from it. Sexton comes off the bench. He doesn't even start for him.
Yeah.
But listen, I think we talked about this briefly before. Get ready for Jordan Clarkson to be in a Raptors uniform.
Ooh.
Because they're going to blow that team up. I mean, they're not going to put up with this. That team's
not happy.
Not if they're 18-6. If they're 18-6, I don't think they're blowing it up.
But you have to. That team cannot compete for a championship.
They're going to go for it, Kitch. They're going to pick up LeBron.
Maybe.
AD.
Who's coaching that team now? It's not
Quinn Snyder still?
No,
he's gone.
Quinn's Gonzo. Yeah, who'd they?
No idea.
Tell you what, put some money on that kid, right? Well, if they don't blow it up, put some money on that guy, coach of the year.
That is. True.
That would be great.
And as a sidebar to that, like the thing that amazes me is, so they traded away Mitchell, who obviously couldn't get that working out Utah, and now Cleveland's 8-2 with Mitchell, and Mitchell's playing like a banner year. He's playing an all-star type year. Like it is amazing how that team
changes scenery.
Will Hardy is the coach.
Will Hardy, that's right. Former Boston guy, former Boston assistant. That's right. Him and Ainge have a connection. That's
Makes
right.
sense. Makes sense.
Did he sleep with an intern, or is he?
Kitch.
Why is he not there anymore? Oh, okay.
Kitch.
I'm not even sure that's the story. She wasn't an intern.
Yeah.
I know, it's great. Now, last piece on this. Anyone here worried about Golden State? Because I actually am.
Yep. Yeah. How do you go with that? Like, you've got your best roster out there. You think they're all healthy, they're all playing. You got the young guys coming back, and you're 4-7. What is? Did
you guys see the stats on starting lineup versus second line?
Oh my God!
They are number one in the league for starting lineup plus minus, and they barely squeaked it out. Did you guys watch the games 2 nights ago where Curry,
but they barely beat Sacramento.
Curry went off, whatever. They should have won that game.
No,
so their bench
other than opening night when they beat the Lakers, you can make an argument they could have lost every game. Like they have not been dominant in any way, shape, or form. I do think there's the green hangover thing. Like that's That's not great. Poole has not been good. He started off okay,
No.
but his last
Yeah.
4 or 5 games, he has not been great. If they've got problems, I bet that it's not good for my season long over under bet with them, but they have got real problems. I think.
Bart, I believe you got Golden State Brooklyn in the final. Is that who you had?
Brooklyn. Don't give up on Kyrie.
Is that true?
No, I'm not going to give up on. I'm going to be the only one who doesn't give up on Kyrie. He's going to turn it all around. He's going to turn his life around, his game around, Nets around.
Wow.
You guys are so negative. Well, I read an article yesterday. Apparently, even his teammates are like, "Get this guy the fuck out of here!" Like the whole anti-Semitism thing. They're just like, "This is it. We don't want this guy around us." Like, who knows? He may have played his last game of the season. By the way, I'm not convinced he comes back.
Yeah. How about ever?
No, it could be. Listen, he could easily be with Dwight Howard in Taiwan next year. That's where Dwight Howard's playing.
Yeah,
in Taiwan.
I could see him being somewhere in the middle of nowhere playing.
Like guys, if Kyrie Irving was available for free, Raptors, yes or no?
No. I'm a
Yeah.
team morale guy.
No.
I'm a team morale guy, and I don't want guys that ruin the team morale.
Yeah. I just don't think he would bring enough positives to outweigh the obvious negative. No, I don't. That's what I mean. And what fan base with any type of Jewish community is going to sit there and go,
right now, he should start up the live NBA.
yeah. 3-on-3. 3-on-3.
The live NBA thing that runs tournaments somewhere else and just build his own league.
I'll tell you what, Mickelson would join. Mickelson would be all over it. All right, listen, we got to move on because we're out of here. We got to fly through. The Kitch's got all kinds of Vegas stories, and he's got a sore foot story. We got all kinds of shit to go on. What is next on the agenda? Right to gambling. All right, let's get at it. Let's ching. Okay, I'm
gonna make it quick. We all went 1-2 last week. We all went to Kitch still leads the season.
Excuse me. Please don't diminish the 25,000 star locks.
Sorry, Bart hit his first of 3 20,000 locks for the year with my Pats. So yeah, the lock. His locks are 1 and 2.
No, I won 2 in a row.
2 in the week.
I've won 2 locks in a row. That's bullshit. Not 1 and 2.
You lost the Jacksonville lock.
Jacksonville.
That's one before that I won.
Before that, you lost New England with Chicago. You get destroyed in your 2 locks before.
You're right. I did. Let's be my off-air locks that are winning.
So Kitch is 5-4, and his opponents are 4-5. So it's I'm still making money. You guys are in the hall.
All right. So who's in last? Am I in last?
Yeah, you're the biggest loser. You go ahead.
Yeah, geez, I like that. All right, quickly. Oh, because I had those overs. I had 2 overs last week. I'm off the overs. That was ridiculous. But here we go. It's pretty straightforward for me this week. We are going with the San Francisco 49ers, -7, I believe. I believe they're about to roll. I don't believe in the Chargers. So that's pick numero uno. The second pick, a little off the beaten path here, but I'm going to take the Steelers getting 2.5 at home against. Oh, that Saints team's terrible. Just trust me on this one. Just try that.
You're actually putting money on the Steelers.
Yeah.
I
believe in Kenny. I believe in Kenny.
If anybody turns this game on to watch it, you got to find something else to do.
I didn't say that.
Kitch, you'll be watching this.
But to lock up,
I'll be watching for it.
This line makes no sense to me, and I can't for the life of me understand why it's not 7.5, 8 points. The Texans suck. That's obvious. The Texans suck.
Oh.
They tied opening game of the season against the Colts, who also suck. And they have one of their shitty win against. Who'd they get their shitty win against? One of the shitty teams in their division. Maybe Jacksonville.
Probably.
So now they're on the road in New York. New York, who's coming off a bye, who's been fucking red hot, playing solid football. My 25,000 star lock. I'm telling you, boys, this is where, assuming you make it to Sunday, if you make it to Sunday, you roll out of bed, you grab whatever cash is in the vicinity, right? You put it in your shirt, under your shirt. I don't care where. You roll all the way down. You clear people out of the way, and you say, "I'm putting it all on the New York Football Giants."
Oh, I think hard 8.
-5. Lock it up.
I don't hate that one actually. You're right.
Okay.
Kitch,
mine are
That's
easy
what I'm
and
looking
boring.
for, by the way. As long as
Easy
you guys
and
don't
boring,
hate it,
Kitch.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I got the Thursday night under tonight. That's 43, I believe.
Can you give us teams? Give us teams.
That's the Falcons
Carolina.
Panthers under 42.5 Thursday night.
And then I agree that Houston team is horrible. They have ugly uniforms, and they're a terrible team. Giants game under. I got 40.5 on that
That's
one.
40.5.
Yeah. And final one is my Cleveland Browns and Miami under 49.
Was that 49, that line?
49.
What?
That seems high for some reason.
Today's actually, I have it at
Miami's not
48.5.
trying to stop anybody. They can score.
Well,
Kitch, mark
Cleveland
that
can't
down,
score.
48.5, please. 48.5, not 49.
Okay.
Thanks, Bart.
Live lines.
Thanks for nothing.
All right. My 3 games of the week are the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to bet the under there. I'm going to bet the Josh Allen banged up. Let's run the ball, keep the clock moving theory. So under 45.5.
Like that.
I'm going to bet Seattle, Tampa Bay under 44.5. I'm taking the under in that one. I don't think Tampa Bay scores. They
In Germany.
In Germany. Oh, Germany. That's right. Germany. Yeah. I'm sure Tom's really excited to go to Germany to play. And then my third pick is the Chicago Bears minus the 3 over the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I think Chicago is better than Chicago's decided we're going to be a college football team. We don't have a good enough core to throw the ball. And Justin Fields is if there's a Justin Fields over yards, that's my lock of the week. Justin Fields over rushing yards. He'll run for 100 over 100 yards.
Yes.
Oh, it will be. All right. I might try that one. So Chicago minus 3 over Detroit is my third one for this week.
Yeah, I'm surprised that line's only 3 too, because Detroit, I know they're. I mean, I know they won. They beat Green Bay last week, but Green Bay is a disaster. And yeah, I agree. That's I like that one.
Bart, so we're in Vegas. We're in Vegas this week, and bye weeks. Patriots are on a bye week for Kitchen, and Slackers Bengals. Like they're going to save 1,000 each. They're going to save 1,000 each by betting on their stupid
bets.
teams.
Yeah, no homer bets this week. That's nice.
No homer bets.
Awesome. All right. Well, listen. There we go. There we have it.
Did you want our lock for our Super Bowl prediction?
Oh, well, this is what. Yeah, best odds Super Bowl prediction. Yes, best odds. Not who you think is going to win the Super Bowl, but who you think has the
best odds in the agenda.
Oh, I did.
Next week. Can
you not? Hang on. Super Bowl odds team. Best to win Super Bowl odds team. What else? Your best to win Super Bowl odds. Your best to win Super Bowl odds. That's exactly what's in the fucking agenda.
Whoa. F-bombs.
Well, here again. Deno, see, would you want to work for him? You actually even do put the shit that he asked for, and then it's still not good enough.
I got Kitch's back. I'm going to see him tonight. So.
Listen, I get it. Yeah. The guy with all the cool cuts in his room? Yeah, of course you want to be nice to him.
Yeah. Or warm cuts. I'll take it in.
Yeah, I agree. Room temperature cuts. Yeah.
Room temperature.
All right. No, I don't want them now because you know what? You guys didn't do the work properly.
I did.
Seattle's
I did one of each, actually. I did do one of each.
All right. Well, mine's Seattle.
Mine is San Fran. McCaffrey, San Fran.
Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting. But what are their odds? What's San Fran's odds right now to win?
They're 4-4. I don't know what their odds are.
Well, that was the whole thing. You had to do the odds to win. Oh, Jesus, you guys.
Well, they got to be a long shot of 4-4.
Not as much as you think. They're only 12-1.
That's
Seattle's 33-1. That's what I'm saying. I like Seattle just as like the team that's playing well that no one's still kind of under the radar. 33-1. So I got the Bengals out last year. Should have won.
Geno Smith in a tight playoff game.
I know, but it doesn't make any sense. But look at this year's NFL. Look at is Tom Brady? Like, do you think the Bucks at 18-1 is a better bet?
No. What's Green Bay? Can I bet Green Bay too?
Best odds. Green Bay's not even on the list anymore.
Well, they're so bad.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, because I have 10 minutes. What drives? Kitch, where are we going with this with you today? How many different stories do you have for us?
Yeah, Kitch.
What drives? I got 3. I'm gonna do a rapid fire 3. Oh, just rapid fire 3. So we're not gonna talk in great detail on them. So I'm flying over here to Vegas, and I'm on American Airlines. And now what they've done to American Airlines, or the airlines now do it, is they don't have TVs in the seats anymore. They tell you can just download the entertainment onto your device you bring on the plane. You can watch it on your own device. So you don't have to pay for that. So you can just download the movies on your own device. Well, what they forgot to tell people is when you download the movie to your own device, you have to listen to the device with headphones. There was 2 people around me watching movies with the sound cranked up on their iPad. And I'm like, finally I tapped the guy. I said, listen, can you just turn that down a bit? I'm trying to do some reading here. It was blaring through the whole section. I was like, oh my God.
Kitch, you won't believe it.
Move. Next 5 hours.
You won't believe this. That was my exact what drives you, because I was in an airport sitting at the gate, and I'm sitting with Annie and her friend, and right behind us, so the chairs are back to back. Same thing. This woman's got her phone on some Bible channel. It's Sunday. I'm listening to. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Now
the hint, Bart. Hint.
And I should have said something, because it's probably the only place I'm pretty sure they don't have guns. So she couldn't have just ripped it out and shot me.
In the airport? Yeah. Try to get through that metal thing.
You're safe, Bart. You're safe.
But I just couldn't. It doesn't matter. I don't care what the content is. I just couldn't believe how loud it was, and how just like our whole area could hear it.
Yeah, rude. Just so rude.
It's shocking, eh?
To start.
So I pay a little more and sat up front in the plane. So I'm sitting in first class, and the guy's glaring beside me. So I got that to deal with. And then now the server is trying to serve our meals. She's trying to, the stewardess is trying to give us our meals, and she can't get to our seats in the first 5 rows because there's a 5-person lineup to the bathroom from everybody who's not sitting in first class. So that, like, what do you know what that curtain means? Everybody's pushing the curtain aside and walking up to use the first class. So she can't. She's going, excuse me, pardon me, trying to get her seats, her feet, the first 5 rows, because there's a lineup to the bathroom at the front. I'm like, oh, wow, that's ballsy. That is ballsy, I would say, or just socially unaware.
Producer John, at some stage this week, you got to put this cut up. I just want to see the hate that's going to come Kitch's way for this. This will be awesome. We got to put a What Drives You segment on TikTok.
Third world problems.
Yeah, watch this one. This will be good. I may even comment it in the notes. Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That's 2.
My third one is, when I've been back here to Vegas now, there should be a law in place. If you're over 60, you can't use your phone while you're walking. You cannot do anything on your phone while you're walking. If you're 60 and something you want to use your phone, you have to pull yourself off to the side and then make your call or text or do whatever you need to do. Because the number of people who are over 60 have been walking on the phone and walked into somebody or walked into a table or a chair or just come to a complete stop in the flow of 100 people traffic because they've got to check their phone and they've stopped. People over 60, they aren't aware of how to use a cell phone. So just pull yourself to the side to use it. Under 50, those kids can do a jog. They can do a jog and still use their phones.
I was going to say I agree with you, but I think it should be everybody. Like I get frustrated when kids are walking in packs and there's like 3 or 4 and they're all on their phones and they're taking up space. I find everyone does it to a certain extent, is somewhat oblivious to it. I think it should just be, I think walking and phoning should be banned.
Outlawed. I like that.
Yeah.
Now that also might not go over that well on TikTok.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure phoning is an actual verb, but walking and phoning is no longer legal.
Okay, I feel good now. I got those off my chest. Thanks, guys.
That's good. Enjoy Vegas now. Yeah, now you can enjoy Vegas. All those troubles getting to Vegas. Oh, what a terrible trip you're on so far. All right, Deno, quickly.
Yeah, mine's quick. We always talk about this. Banks really pissed me off this week, Bart. So
do we always
went
talk
in
about
there, this? Bart? I know it's hard to believe. So I had to change the name on a mortgage or on my property, my rental properties. The bank tells me that in order to do that, I got to go get my mortgage now in the open market. Deno almost grabbed the banker by the throat. So I have a 5-year fixed mortgage, right? I looked at them. I go, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" They go, "Oh, I believe those are the rules." I go, "No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not." And I go, "You are doing this to try to screw me. Those are not the rules. If I qualify to take this over, I still get it." So the bank calls you back or emails me yesterday saying, "Yes, Mr. Anunoby, we'll allow you to requalify for this mortgage." So what banks drive me crazy is that if I didn't know the rules, I would have got totally screwed. Totally screwed. Because what are rates now, Kitch? 5.5%?
Yeah, over
right?
5 for sure.
Yeah. I'm locked in at 1.9, right? Just total screw the client. How do you work for kind of a bank, Kitch? How do you sleep at night?
So the bank is becoming a thing of
like a baby.
It's becoming obsolete. The bank is becoming obsolete. Like there will soon be no humans in branches, and that's actually going to be it's actually be a good thing because they can't hire qualified people. You have to deal with specialists in all the banks. You can't just walk into the bank and deal with somebody who works there because the person is just they're untrained. It's not to their fault. They're just untrained. The banks don't spend any resources on them.
Yeah.
And,
mine was a booked meeting, Kitch. A booked meeting with a specialist. Like,
wow.
I told him while I was coming in, I brought all my stuff in. I had everything lined up and I put it down and I told them, if you don't honor this, I am out of here. Like I was ready to like.
Did you use the words? I'll take my business elsewhere.
No, I did not. Yeah, kind
He
of.
said, "I'm out of here." Supply.
I'm gonna take my 5 mortgages somewhere else.
I know, but I would just like being able to say that. I will take my business elsewhere. I think it's a powerful statement. I will take my business elsewhere. You sound important when you say shit like that. All right, listen. Thank you, Deno. You know what, Kitch? Seeing you stole mine, I do have one other because I was trying to track these. So in Toronto, past weekend, Royal Winter Fair with Annie for her 10th birthday. Brought a friend. The Winter Fair was the Friday night and the Saturday afternoon. We'll talk about that in a second too. Anyways, we got to kill Friday. We got to kill the day Friday in Toronto in the Big Smoke. So they want to go to the aquarium, which I've been to the aquarium before there. And I knew immediately, I was like, I should be talking them out of this. I should be talking them out of this fucking, because my first experience at the aquarium sucked balls. And guess what? My second experience sucked bigger balls. Because that aquarium sucks.
I loved it.
You like that aquarium?
Yeah.
No. You got, well, then, you know what? Then is that the only aquarium you've ever been to?
No.
I don't go aquariums global. Like I don't go hunting down aquariums when I travel.
I'm telling you, for the amount of money they charge there, you're through it. You're through it in 11 minutes if you want to be. And then no, I'm telling you, the TikTokers out there, put this one on too, John. This will blow up too. We get this in Toronto. The Toronto Aquarium sucks. If you've got one day to kill, you avoid that. We should have gone Science Center. I wanted to go Science Center. I should have forced that down their throats. Didn't do it. Aquarium sucks. Drove me crazy. How expensive it was for that shit.
I liked it. I enjoyed my one time there. I enjoyed it actually.
I like it. All right, so that's it. AOB. Speaking of my daughter, I'm picking her up very shortly. So we got to move. Kitch, you have one story. Go with the foot. Go with the foot story. The gambling story we'll save for next week.
So as following from last week's pod, I have not made some great decisions lately. So running out of gas in Atlanta was a bit on me. That was
Brock loved it, by the way.
Brock's so like, the second thing you should never do, if you buy a place in a tropical place like Florida, I got a place in Florida. So you buy a place in a warm climate, and you decide to do some yard work, just don't do it in sandals. Don't do yard work in sandals, because when you're picking up some stuff, you might pick up a little ant hole. And I did notice these ants running around, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I felt this little biting on my feet. I'm like, I shook it off, and it was gone. It was gone. And I kept working the rest of the day. Well, the next day around noon, little did I know, that's when the ant bites flare up. So now I've got this massive red foot, all these little white boils on everywhere. I'm bathing in cortisone with my foot just to try to stop it from itching like crazy. So yeah. So this week's bad decision by Kitch was gardening in the south in sandals. Wouldn't probably recommend doing that again.
You know what? Becky's had multiple fire ants or red ants attacks since she's been in Hillhead, and it's ugly. It is. But by the way, I don't think we need the picture of your foot next time. You can probably just tell the story without the picture.
You want to see it? You want to see it?
I don't.
I told you I had to go to OAB. I wanted to show you.
Well, I know, but those are brutal. Yeah. They just. Yeah. All right. Listen quickly. AOB Jesus. In Toronto again. In Toronto, and guess, as I mentioned, hey Bart trivia. Guess which NBA team was staying in the Toronto Ritz-Carlton Hotel?
Chicago Bulls.
Oh wow, Deno, you're so good at this. So yeah, they're the Bulls parading in and out of the. They got their Friday night for a Sunday game. So I saw them in and out the whole time. But what was what I figured out by Saturday night is that every time I swear to God, every time we were coming back or leaving, we would see this guy parading around with lots of shit in his hands, right? Food-based products. And we think of these athletes as sort of, in today's modern age of being finely tuned athletes, uber sensitive to their health and wellness, their diets. Well, guess what? What I figured out, this guy was the food runner for the Bulls. So I'm not joking. I saw him 7 or 8 times in this trip. And 4 times there was a carton of Krispy Kreme donuts. So that's a box, right? I think there was 24 in there. Okay. So 4 times he had that. 2 times he had 19,000 pizzas. Right. And I'm like, a couple other times, and then there's milkshakes, right? He's got drink. And I finally said to him, sorry, I'm like, oh, I know you're getting the food for the Bulls. He's like, I couldn't possibly comment. I'm like, that's exactly what you're doing. He's like, and I'm like, oh my. And then here I'm going, look what these fuckers are eating. Like, who orders? Like, they get rooms to themselves. I doubt that box of donuts was being shared amongst 7 of them. I was just like, holy shit, boys. Do a little bit of research.
Or if you're the 12th player, I'd be pounding the donuts.
Gotta use your per diem. I agree. Gotta use it up. But
it's better than the guy that stayed across from me who had his lunchtime game and lunchtime meal and there was a bottle of vodka on the bottle of vodka for lunch.
I think you might be better off. All right, boys, listen. Deno's flying out. Have a great weekend. I wish I was there. Maybe next year. And we'll see. We'll see you. Survive Vegas, Deno, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Kitch.
All right. Good luck. Yep.
Kawhi, take it away.
Take it away.
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win.